All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Wednesday and happy last trading day of the week, right? What a it feels weird. I don't know how else to say it. It feels like a very weird week, very slow, very muted moves here today. And even with the tremendous amount of data that we've had here so far this AM, right, we're not seeing a huge reaction to anything here today, right? Certainly looking for a nice amount of continuation, right? Certainly looking for what should be a good bout of follow through here at some point. And if we look at price action on a weekly, we are the doji among dojis on NQ and very muted range here on ES. So again, right, going to be very cautious, very patient, and really obsessing and building off of what I thought yesterday was honestly an awesome trading day. Now, it wasn't awesome necessarily because it was the greatest P&L result or anything along those lines. It was awesome because yesterday was a day where a month ago I would have been red, and yesterday, right, was green. And the reason, right, or the change in that was because I adapted to the market circumstances and got rid of the ego when I was trading and cut losers before they became max losses, right? And took winners before they became losers, and aggressively built up a position to get decent follow through. And that for me was honestly felt liberating, for lack of a better term, right? It felt really exciting to have made that kind of like change. And I'm gonna continue to obsess over taking like the small slap instead of the big punch, right? If I can cut losers before I get stopped out, then that's a good thing, right? Have like a hard stop loss, but a mental stop loss, that's a good thing. Because if I can keep losses at $100, $200, even $300, well, I can very easily bounce back from that sort of decision. And if I can very aggressively pyramid into my trades, I'm going to set myself up to get a tremendous amount of follow through. So yesterday we had two great examples of that, right? A couple trades that stopped us out, but we closed them before they ever took a max loss, and a nice win, right, where we took a pyramid position that was far more aggressive than what we've done here otherwise. And then if I can just kind of continue pairing those concepts, right, and building things out that way, I'm going to set myself up for a tremendous amount of success. And I love that, right? That's the best feeling in the world. Just feeling like I'm in control over sort of the outcome. And I'm looking to basically keep building off of some of those skills. With that being said, right, it is the last trading day here of the month. Obviously, markets are closed tomorrow. It's a half day on Friday, so I would highly recommend not trading. And then Monday, I'm going to be on a flight back, so I won't be streaming then. So hopefully you guys just bear with me there for a few days. But let's finish off the week with an absolute bang here. Let's keep focusing on just getting a little bit better each and every single day. And P&L will kind of just take care of itself, right? What I also want to stress here is that I want you all to be, I've said this before, but I want you all to be as selfish as you possibly can in your decision-making processes. Because when you're making independent decisions and then you're studying what led to those decisions, that ultimately is what's going to make you more money long-term. So yes, right, you can copy my trading. Yes, you can, try to get the same entries as me, try to get the same exits as me. But if I'm looking to cut a trade early and then you're waiting for me to say that I'm out, again, right, you're going to be always getting a worse price or a worse fill than me. And the idea here, right, is that we learn from our decisions. So if I decide I'm going to do something, then I can track why I did something, why I didn't do something, what the result was of that, and I can get better from that pattern of decisions. And I want everyone to be doing the same thing for their own trading, right? If I take an entry and I felt like it was an early entry, if I note that down, well, okay, I'll be able to study that, learn from it, right? Get better and improve. So trading fundamentally is very selfish in that context because we have to get better, right, if we want to make more money. And relying on me to get better for sure is something I'm going to continue doing, right? I'm going to continue improving, becoming more lethal in my skill set and becoming more obsessive in how I manage my positions. But you're going to see more improvement if you basically compound that, right? So if I get better and you get better, well, your P&L is going to get significantly better, right? And that's what my goal, right? What my dream is for all of you is for everyone to be part of the team, but to also understand that your contribution or the way that you're going to make as much as humanly possible is by also obsessing over the variables you can't control, right? So if you don't like a decision, if a trade's not making you feel the way that you want it to feel, write that down, track it, right? Create that data point, create that piece of information that you can learn from, and you're going to quickly start compounding and making more and more and more and more and more. And ultimately, that's what this game is, right? We don't get better by trying to make more money. We make more money by getting better. And if we make that commitment to ourselves and we take that seriously, then we start to behave opposite to how 99% of traders behave. And if most traders are looking for that quick lottery ticket, or they're looking for that cheap win, or they're looking for X, or they're looking for Y, or looking for Z, but we're looking for A, and we're looking for B, and we're being accountable to ourselves, then ultimately that's where we're going to find the most amount of success. So today, right, just like yesterday, I've got 3 objectives. I want to be a psycho in how I am protecting profits. I want to be a lunatic in losing small, and I want to be obsessive over how I add to winners so that I can juice up the statistics in my favor and put myself in a situation where it's easy to be green, right? Fundamentally, trading is a game of probabilities, and the more that I can stack the cards in my favor, the better things are going to go. And that's really what my priority is here. That's really what I want to get good at. That's really what I want to become the best in the world at, right? I can't become the best trader in the world, right? Until I become the best version of myself. And so the more and more I can be selfish in that pursuit, then the more and more the market is going to reward me. So that's really the priority here for today. I'm confident that if I do that, I'm going to have more green days. My green days are going to be bigger. My red days are going to feel less personal. And I'm going to create data that I can study, learn from, improve, right? And essentially become just the best version of myself. So I would challenge you all to also make that commitment. And when you do, a tremendous amount of things are going to happen for you. So with that being said, no crazy rant here this morning. Let's start mapping things out. Let's figure out what we want to do here today. And let's put ourselves in situations where, yeah, it's easy to be green. And the only way it's going to be easy for us to be green is if we focus on those 3 variables, right? So cut losers like a lunatic, right? Protect profits like a psycho, and, be obsessive over finding ways to add to winners. And if we do those 3 things successfully, then you know what? The quality of our setup trigger, not going to be that important. The amount of movement that the market gives us, not going to be that important. And yesterday was honestly like the most fun I've had trading in a really, 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 really long time. And I woke up so excited here today. So I can't wait to keep building off of those skill sets. And let's get after it. So good morning, Topher, Nate, Jack, Craig, Cordell, and Rame. Hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. And let's start mapping things out. So first things first, right? Economic calendar. Busy, busy, busy here. We're going to have some 9:45 data. We're going to have some 10 a.m. data, a crazy amount of 10 a.m. data. And then I even think we have crude oil and nat gas here today, right? So we've got a very, very busy economic calendar on what should be the pretty wild end here to the week. So what's the count here on ES? Let's start there. And from there, we can start kind of building out our plan. Yeah, Jack, spot on, right? 1 out of 3 here to the upside. And we're looking, right, for that all-time high breakout, right, or a move towards that area. Yesterday is a pre-market high, 60.50, so that's, again, going to be the starting point here to the upside. And then we can have a little bit of continuation, right, for a move here to the upside. Now, I'm going to be looking for a fake out maybe off of 5,600 if one occurs. Good morning, Howell. All right, sorry, 6,000, not 5,600. Whoops. Mine's in the gutter. And, yeah, we'll be looking for a nice continuation move here today. Definitely seems like the trend is still to the upside. Right, looking at the monthly, right, trend is very much here to the upside. So we are looking for that nice story of continuation here, and no reason to be hyper aggressive to the downside until we get a really clear indication that that is the case. Now, an opening range fake out, right, at ATH, then a breakdown, right, towards, pre-market low, so 60.25. And then we can really start to map it out. So we go 60.10, 6,000, right? 59.9, 59.8. Certainly gives us lots of potential, right? We do have some space to be able to play this in both directions. But let's make sure, right, that we're controlling our three variables. If we do, honestly, the directional bias we build up won't be that important. The most important thing that we can focus on as traders is managing our risk, playing our risk reward, right, and adding to our wins so that we can build up that margin for error. And the less we lose, the easier it is for us to win big. And the more we add to our winning positions, the more that we can basically then juice those ratios in our favor. So again, going to focus on those three elements as much as I possibly can. I'm going to keep stressing that as much as I possibly can. And then everything else will kind of just take care of itself, right? So that's the plan pretty much across the board. And let's see how things shape up here this AM. All right, NQ. What's the count? How do we feel? Similar, not so similar? Yeah, very similar story, exactly. Again, maybe a little bit further away from all-time highs. Do want to be a bit cautious, right? But pretty good fake out there lower. Good amount of dip buyers there throughout the day. And then we're looking for a continuation towards 21.1. And we're still looking off that fake out off of 2,800. So not too much changing there. And then a fake out there off of 2,100. Certainly sets us up, 21,100, sorry. Sets us up for that continuation lower. So not really too much is changing from our plan there yesterday. We're going to look for that move. And if we can get it, awesome. If we can't, no worries. All right. CL. So we got data here at 10:30. And what's the count? Yeah, 1 for 3 to the downside. So again, not too much changing here. We're going to be targeting 70.50 as our starting point to the upside. Then 71, yada, yada, yada. Generally on crude oil inventories day, tend to not trade CL, right? Tend to just trade the indexes instead. But let's see how she goes. We got 68.50, sorry, as our starting point here to the downside. That's not really changing. Pre-market low, 68.58. So fine. And then we've got it mapped out 68 and beyond. So again, not too much changing here this morning. Looking for just really a nice resolution here. What's been a relatively choppy and bouncy week. All right, Apple, let's count. All right, so 1 for 3 to the upside. So in theory, we could look to go short. Does still look like a trend breakout. So I'd be looking for a retest still of that 232. And then to the downside here, if I could lose, if I can break down under the trend line, then there's room to like 228, right? Approximately that next trend line touch. Okay, Tesla. Red candle, decreasing volume, gap up. right? So 1 for 3 here to the downside. And we're looking for a high vol 350 breakout. And then to the downside, right, lose that trend line, break down under 335, and we're in good shape. Okay, Microsoft, nice little breakout, nice little wedge breakout, right? Good continuation there yesterday. But maybe not a tremendous amount of volume, but we still have what looks like to be trending PA. So we're going to look for a breakout over 430 for a nice continuation narrative. And it's a green candle, decreasing volume gap down. So again, right, 1 for 3 here to the upside. But it looks to be a pattern breakout here this morning. Hey, good morning, Joshua. To the downside, I would need to get into that wedge, which is pretty far away, right? $10 away. So probably still an NA, right, in that case. Okay, Amazon. Green candle, increasing volume, little bit of a baby gap down, 6 cents. So we're going to call it a 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume. So we're looking for a dip buy off of 205 or a breakout above yesterday's high of day, which is 208. So 205 dip buy. Or a breakout over 208. Sweet. And then again, right, because we have that volume support, nice little trend line breakout. I have no real desires to go short here. All right. AMD. Red candle, increasing volume gap down. So 3 for 3 here to the downside. And we're looking for a trend line breakdown. So under 135. Or right, a rejection off of 140. Cool. NVIDIA. Red candle, decreasing volume gap down. So 2 out of 3 here to the downside without volume. This would be a possible Bollinger Band reversal setup. Right? Decent sized gap down after a weak day of selling there yesterday. Or alternatively, right, a high vol breakdown under like 135 certainly sets us up for some continuation. Now, what we want to see pretty much across the board here today is that strong narrative, right, of trending price action, which is going to be kind of identified by a volume profile, right? So seeing big volume showing up here this morning, seeing a good amount of enthusiasm showing up is going to set us up for a nice amount of oomph. Okay, Meta, 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. So we're looking for a breakout over 578. And no dip buy there. And then again, right, a high vol rejection. Maybe could push us back down towards those lows, but I have more evidence still of that red box. So I'd be looking for that red box rejection. Cool. All right, Netflix. Inside bar here. So we're looking for a consolidation breakout, and that would be a move over 902 or a breakdown here under 864. And then again, right, we want to see more volume than what we saw there yesterday. And then Google, 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. Pretty still weak climb. High vol rejection inside Thursday's range still makes a ton of sense. So we'll call it like this red box. Right, a rejection there certainly would make sense down towards previous low of day. Thursday low of day, I should say. Right, or a breakout above that red box, approximately 174. So this is probably easier of a bear setup than a bull setup. But let's see how she goes. And then VIX. I mean, 13.97, that is very, very low. Last time we saw it in that range, right, we saw a volatility spike, which then also coincided with a little bit of a 1 or 2 day sell-off. So we'll see if that ends up kind of shaping up again here. And then Bitcoin hanging out 94K. Got so close to 100,000, but couldn't quite breach that. Any questions here, team? Anything that makes sense, doesn't make sense? That felt like it came together very quickly here today. Does it make sense? Doesn't make sense? How do we feel? Fantastic. All right, so like I said, right, today, all about being obsessive over three things, right? Cut losers before they become max losers, protect winners before they become losers, and add to winners when we can go risk-free so that we can get follow through in what is some choppy PA, right? The focus for me as I creep up towards 2025 and then as we start 2025 is becoming more obsessive with adding to winners, right? The evidence I have of how my P&L behaves, right, when I'm able to even get just one pyramid trade a week is significant, right? So if I can get more situations where best case scenario, I'm protecting a couple point win with a larger position size, I'm cool with that. If it means that my upside risk-free is significantly larger. And that for me is going to continue to be sort of the obsession, the thing that I want to get better at. And if I can do that, yeah, life is going to be good, right? So continuing to focus on those variables, continuing to just get a little bit better each and every day, and finding basically how I can make more margin for error for myself, right? Truth be told, I don't really care what my win rate is. I think win rate is like a little bit of a vanity metric. I care about my P&L. And so many of the greatest traders ever don't have win rates in the 80% range, right? They've got win rates in the 30, 40, 50% range, and they are just building up big position sizes on the trades that they win, so they get, 5, 6, 7 times larger wins than their average loss. And if you can do that, well, your win rate doesn't matter, right? Your daily bias doesn't matter. All these things kind of become a little bit irrelevant because the ratios that are working in your favor are so juiced in your direction that you just become like a little bit of a savant, right? So fundamentally, it is the best loser that wins. And if I can take a $100 loss instead of a $500 loss, then that for me is a version of being the best loser I can be, right? Makes it easier for me to stomach that pain, makes it easier for me to make it not feel personal, and it makes it easier for me to then find a nice win and make back my losses and then some. So that's really the priority. I want everyone to focus on those same things and just be okay with making some mistakes in the short term, right? You're gonna cut trades that turn into wins for sure. You're gonna cut losers that turn into bigger losers for sure. But it's about creating data for yourself, studying those decisions, right? And learning over how you can get better from those plays. And the more and more we obsess over those variables, the more and more we obsess about creating data for ourselves that we can study and learn from, the better things go. And look, the point of losing small isn't to make our losses irrelevant, right, in a month, or to make us feel like, hey, this doesn't matter. It's to make it easy for ourselves to be green and for us to be able to make a lot of decisions without being able to get that decision fatigue. So if I'm thinking back on what my trading or how my trading has gone here in 2024, I went from maybe being a little bit, I won't say trigger happy, but there'd be a lot of days, right, where I would go, or a lot of weeks where I'd get 3 trades a week. And I've certainly changed that, where I've been able to get more action, been able to get more, been able to make more decisions. And my P&L has seen a really good increase from that. So now the next step, right, in that process is getting better at cutting those bad decisions quickly and adding to those good decisions quickly. And that's going to then, again, continue to improve my P&L and set me up next year, right, to have $1 million a year trading. And if I can do that, it's going to be awesome. And that for me is sort of the next piece of the puzzle that I want to work on here and keep building up. So we got 6 minutes here till market open. I'm going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day. And what that means to me, right, is just visualizing getting into trades, cutting losers quickly, adding to winners where I could go risk-free, and building up my position sizing so that I can get good follow-through on even muted market moves. If I can do that with limited risk, life is going to be great. So that's really the priority. That's really what I'm obsessing over. That's really what I want to focus on here. And I think we've got enough volatility in store where that's going to be a really good strategy here. So I'll be back in a few minutes, your team. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, anything that's top of mind or sticking out to you, please feel free to pop a question in the chat or a ticker that you're looking at. We'll do a quick little rundown of it as the day is starting. And then, yeah, let's set ourselves up for a fantastic trading day and an incredible end to the week. So I'll be back at it in a few minutes, and we'll talk then. All right, so let's get ready here. Right, market opens in 15 seconds. So let's see how the day shapes up here. But a lot of data at 10 a.m., so maybe we have to wait a little bit for some action. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Coffee is warm, it's strong. Getting excited for a little bit of time off. Gonna be going back to Stamford Bridge for the first time in 5 years. So life is good. Yeah, so the retest, Rusty, was of the midpoint of the opening range. So the red line. I'm going to spend a bit more time playing around with that on my flight. I think I should be able to get Wi-Fi. So we'll see if something sets up or if I get some good tangible information from that. But yeah, that for me, really promising, right? And then that's a 1R move from the top of the range. So getting, you know, the average like opening range on NQ is like 40 points. So getting then a 60 point move from the midpoint, right, is essentially what you're getting 60% of the time, which is pretty tremendous. Yeah, seriously, yeah. Especially if you can pyramid into positions, right? Now, I'm gonna, in my head, the way that I'm doing the thinking about pyramiding is with the R system, right? So once I'm up 1R and I'm willing to go entry protection, why not go entry protection with bigger sizing and less risk, right? So that for me is the way I'm looking at it. So I'll make some sort of documentation about that here at some point once it's like fully baked in my mind. But that's the way I'm looking at it. Again, there's very few like new ideas under the sun. So it's really about taking concepts that you're already familiar with and that are clear in your head that you can translate right into more profitable concepts. Okay, so we have more volume here to the downside on NQ, not so much on ES. I don't know, maybe it's well, I would say maybe. I loved the P&L I was getting in August and September, right? And the difference between my P&L now and my P&L 2 months ago was I was getting a lot more pyramid opportunities, right, for those trades. And my win rate, okay, fluctuated a little bit, right, but not by any significant margin where, like, that's the limiting factor. It's that I was more aggressive or getting more opportunities to pyramid into positions 2 months ago than I am now. So I think there's still that potential to get the same numbers and beyond by improving that technique. So I have to make that change instead of swinging harder. And that's the thing that's been playing around with my mind here a little bit. And I won't lie, as I get closer and closer to moving to the States, it's gonna be expensive, right? Buying a house, buying a new car, all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a little bit expensive. So, you know, you want to make sure that every other element of your trading is kind of bolted down and as sharp as it needs to be. And I think that's a really positive change I can make here. Definitely some decent volume at the open. Pretty good. More on the 5. And Q looks like to be, again, the bigger volume mover here so far today. And I'll tell you what, team, I cannot wait to get out of Canada. Oh my gosh. No offense to my fellow Canadians here. I cannot wait. Yeah, Sammy. We've got the same struggle here. Oh, ain't that the truth, Joe? He's so I didn't live in Canada for most of my 20s, and I left Canada when I was 18. And then I came back, and it felt so different than what I remembered it as. Now I'm sure that's a lot of it. A lot of just personal development and becoming less liberal and all that kind of stuff. Oh man, Craig, you probably just mentioned my least favorite politician. Yeah, there are, Clark. There's a lot of Americans that want to move to Canada, but those aren't generally the people that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. I don't know about you guys, but I've got brown hair, not purple hair. That's a rough stereotype, but an American liberal is like still an extremist Canadian conservative. But yeah, for me, the turning point. I mean, we're getting a little bit political here this morning. Generally not my decision, or not what I want to do here. But for me, the turning point was the 3 years of lockdowns and restrictions and COVID passports. That was ridiculous. Cannot get that taste out of my mouth of just like an infringement on my freedom. Like one of the craziest things, this is what I think about all the time, but during the pandemic, for whatever reason, right, seemed like COVID spread worse at night, and so you had like an 8 p.m. curfew, and if you had a dog, you're able to walk within 1 kilometer of your house outside of curfew to go walk your dog. And so for a while, it was really cool, and it was cool because you'd go walk around and it'd be like the city was empty, right? You'd see no one. And so I'd go walk my dog, and we'd go do like 2-hour walks at night, and it was awesome. And then I got stopped by the police one time, and they're like, "Well, we need you to prove your address to see if you're more than 1 kilometer away from your house." And I wasn't walking with ID, all this kind of stuff. And they ended up escorting me back to my home. and like, yeah, basically reprimanding me for being more than a kilometer away. I was like, geez, man, like these people freaking suck. Oh, Craig, it's crazy. The stuff that's going on here is really sad. Joe, I'm looking at Florida and Texas. I'm going for the complete opposite of where I live now. Somewhere where it's warm, so I can golf year round. And somewhere where the taxes are not oppressive. Oh, I mean, bless his heart. Oh, I hear that, Don. Yeah. Yeah, Tennessee would be cool. Yeah, Topher for sure. I mean, look, the dream I have here is set up a permanent residency in one of those states. So I'll spend more than 6 months a year there, and then go spend my summers in the mountains somewhere, either back in Canada or in like Colorado or something like that. That's the dream. That's what I'm gonna try to pull off next year. All right, so NQ starting to potentially set up here a little bit for that reversal scenario. It's 9:42, so we got plenty of time here. Well, one failed breakout, 2 failed breakouts, 3 failed breakouts to the downside. Now, 18 minutes to go before data. So I'm probably looking oh man, Dawn, yeah. That's incredible. Tennessee's pretty cool. Like, you get the Blue Mountains there too. It's pretty epic. And the no state income tax. Yeah, that's pretty epic. Let's put this. I just want to be an SEC country. That's it. Okay, so for now, we'd be looking at a low of day stop loss, which is actually tighter than I would expect. 21 points. It's pretty reasonable. So 51 would have to be the stop. Again, 51 is 51.50 plus the spread. And then if this breaks out here, we'll go potentially aggressive. Okay, there it is. So now stop loss would be 71. Okay, so watching carefully here. And again, right, I'm being a lunatic. If I jump in, right, then it doesn't give me the reaction that I want. If I'm basically not green right away, I'm cutting it and I'm running and I'm resetting, right? So not only protecting mental capital, but protecting physical capital as like the #1 priority. If I put that to be like top of the priority list, I was gonna say totem pole, but I don't know if that's really relevant here. If I'm able to do that, then the money will take care of itself, right? So far, a good decision to have avoided this so far. And as is, right, this could be 2 contracts. Right, 10 points. Still no entry. Okay, we just had some 945 data drop as well, right? Business barometer. I don't know what the heck that means. Good bounce. We're finding a decent amount of support, right, at that 71. But we're also finding a little bit of resistance right at that 80. So it's kind of, it's like bouncing between 2 walls here. So I don't think it's ready for my entry quite yet. Okay, it looks like it broke through one of those walls. So now this would be a 1 contract play, right? And it needs to be under 87.50. Just might have missed it there. Switching time frames. Come on. Ah, bugger. Okay, still watching here. Okay, it's good volume on this candle, right? That's fine. Wait it out, 2 seconds. Come on. Okay, watching closely here. Okay, and I am long 884.50. And again, right, going to be a lunatic in how I protect this. But so far, so good here. So far, so good. Oh, gee, I hate when it does that. So let's see if it can go here. Okay, come on. I think I've just got my finger on the X button, right, to close out of this if it doesn't behave the way that I want. So far, okay, but not perfect. All right, guys, I'm out. Took the $215 loss. Good there for a brief moment. But once it gave me that inside bar, that probably should have been my cue to get out. Right? Consolidation post-entry, probably not the best in the world. So that's what I have in my notes, right? Inside bar, but kept risk very tight. And now we possibly have that downside scenario setting up here. So we'll be watching this here still. Not the perfect candle. Boom, 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 boom. 83 would have to be the stop. So, Joe, make sure that your YouTube is synced up. So there should be like a little red dot on your YouTube to make sure that you're live and in real time. The latency on YouTube should be about 3 seconds. Okay, so now we're looking at a 65. Again, it'd be one contract here, right? Keeping the risk very tight. How did we close on that 5? Yeah, looks pretty good on the 5. So stop on the 5 would be, let's see here, 55 we'll call it. Okay. The low here is 41. So you're looking at a 14-point stop loss, right? So again, one contract. Think. So now 3 minutes to go before, or 2.5 minutes to go before market data drops at 10. Might just wait for that at this point. I don't think I did anything wrong there. So just added a little addendum to my notes, right? On that trade, don't think I did anything wrong, but could have gotten a better entry, which would have made it easier to protect the position and finish green. So again, if I got like 71, 75, 80 entry, I would have been to that 1R level and been able to protect. Not to sound obnoxious, but a $200 loss, easy to bounce back from. Buy on the downtick, right? Instead of buying on the uptick. Okay, so we're now looking at a 65 stop, right? So if I'm generally trying to go long, I want to be buying as price is decreasing. But if I'm going short, I want to buy as price is increasing. So I mean, there's a bunch of exchanges, right? Like if you trade in Korea, they have a no uptick rule or no downtick rule too. So you can't trade securities on those. Basically doing what I just did there, right? Buying on the uptick. Hey, good morning, Robert. So again, watching NQ here. Need to get under 40. And again, right, this would be a one contract play. So now it's we can get a pullback, right, into 40 and above. So I've got everything set up here on my end. One contract. And just watching basically how price is moving. So really trying to make sure I now buy, right, on the uptick. And if it breaks down here, no worries, right? I can always set this back up now on the 3-minute time frame in 50 seconds. If it pulls back here into this 40 on the 5, awesome too, right? Okay, so watching closely here. Probably not the right reaction here so far. Better. Okay, guys, I am in 852.25. Stop at 866. One contract. Come on. Come on. Much better, so we can keep... Oh, just jinxed it. Okay, keep getting down here. Keep breaking down. Come on, you can do this. Okay, I don't think it's behaving exactly the way that I want here. So I've closed. And I closed it at 47.75. So I'm going to try to reset this if I can get an opportunity to do so. But I think that was the right call. So, yeah, I feel like that's a relatively good decision here so far. I don't think my timing was correct, right? So instead of dealing with that extra stress, reset, right? If the trade is strong, it'll give me more than one chance to enter. Nice work, Rain. Congratulations. $1,000 on the day, man. You should be thrilled. That's really well done. For now, we're looking for this 10-min candle to close with some decent strength. It's meh. Kind of just looks like a lower, weak lower low. If it can break down again, though, right, we can reset. Oops. See, that makes me nervous. Makes me feel like my thesis might be wrong, but it might want to, or might be correct, but it might want to move in the most frustrating way humanly possible. Or, right, it wants to set up a nasty fake out here, right, where we can't hold the lower low. Like, what's interesting about all the price action here so far on NQ, we've yet to close under a single new lower low. Right? So each time we make a new lower low, it closes back up above it. If I'm trying to say, hey, are bears strong? That isn't a characteristic I would normally associate with strong bears. That would be a characteristic I associate with weakness. So again, I'll take the little $100 win. That's fine. And if it does eventually want to show me some sort of outlier version of strength, cool. I'm happy to trade that. I'm happy to go after it, but I'm not convinced yet. So we'd like to see it close right under 2350. Didn't do it again, right? So it's a little bit concerning, I would say, right, if you're a bear. Now, I would have made a little bit more money, right, had I held on. Would not have been stopped out. But I also think if I would have held on to this trade, it would have been a pretty mentally exhausting position. So it almost feels like the move is to buy the fake out. But let's see. Ooh. All right, wait out this 5-minute candle here. Let's see how it goes. But everyone can understand, right, why I closed that trade early. Everyone kind of get that at least. Does that make sense? So if we can finally get that to hold under low of day, right, we're going to be back in an opportunity to go short. Same thing with ES here. But 1 for 2 here on the day. No worries. Again, if our idea is strong, right, it'll give us more than one chance to enter. So again, we're back in business here. Stop loss 817.25. So we'll call it 818. Just to keep math simple here. Okay, I'm looking for a gentle little pullback. All right, guys, I am in. Average price 2,875. Again, one contract. Stop 818. And this is a much better early reaction here. Much better. Again, perfect entry would have been like 804. Probably something along those lines. Ooh. That's not a good reaction. How low did it go here? 889. Interesting. Okay, last chance. Gotta get back under 800 here. Come on, come on, come on. Don't like that 89 fake out. Don't like it. Not quite increasing volume. All right, guys, I'm out. Took the hit, 320. It's minus like a little bit over 400 bucks on the day here. And that's a potential fake out breakdown. Yes, with the possible reversal. Think I should have been more aggressive protecting entry on that fake out. Okay. Well, that's one piece of paper filled in. Quite mean. Ah, it's annoying. Fake out breakdown. This might be more appealing. Yeah, back up above 800. I don't think I can keep trusting these shorts. Okay, so watching for a long here on NQ, or sorry, on ES. You're looking at 4 contracts. Just give it a sec. I'm gonna wait for this candle to close. Again, a little inside bar is fine. You really want to juice up the stop loss in your favor here. Now, 25.50, I could buy more, right? I'm risking a 1.5. Okay, guys, I'm in 826.25. Sorry, 626.25. Oh, you bugger. Oh, no, okay. Again, stop plus the spread, right? Oh. piece of papier. Whoa. That I did not like. That was dirty. Very, very interesting. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna wait for crude oil inventories here at this point. That was a, yeah, nasty little flush. Nasty, nasty. Targeting move towards 27. Just like this. Okay, so 784 stop. Let's see. Okay, watching here still. So watching here still, watching here still. Stop would have to be 86. Maybe more. Say 88. Okay, so again, watching for an entry here. Okay, guys, I am in short at 775.50. Trying to move my piece of paper. Two contracts. Stop at 88. I'm going to be a lunatic protecting this. But so far, so good. Come on. Here it goes. Okay, so now I'm not going to let this go red. Let's even keep flushing here. $700, come on. 800, come on. Okay, 900,000. Let's even keep going. Now my average price, 775. Where's the midpoint here? Gonna focus on just protecting. Gonna focus on just protecting. Okay, so far so good here, right? Now nicely green on the day. Another $300 win, right? Net win. And let's see if this thing can really push here. Let's go, team. Let's go. Here we go. 1,600. 800 bucks on the day. All right, I might have just fat fingered a close there at that 728, which I did. Whoops. That was a great win. But I fat fingered that. Plus 1960 on that trade. That was actually a perfect close. So again, nice little 2 for 4 day here so far. 2 for 4. That's good volume. We might have another chance to play this short. Maybe the concern is, I mean, look, I think the reason subconsciously I closed it because I hit the red line. It was a near perfect close, and in my notes I've got written down, ended up being a near perfect close. Red line of indicator might have gotten that reflex to break down. And maybe starting to feel a little bit like a capitulation here. But that was awesome. That was awesome. Sorry, that's 2 for 5. 2 for 5. And it did retest that 28 a few times. But it definitely was a fat finger. 100% was. It just clicked without me even thinking about it. Woo! Yeah, that was a great close. That was a great, great close. So subconsciously telling me what I needed to feel. So not bad. Yeah, and I mean, I feel very, very good about that close. So far sitting at 958.67 on the day. Not bad per account. I also think it was my subconscious taking over there. Woo! And again, I will keep harping on about this, but obsessing over losing small, taking losses of 215.34 and 320.83 made it easy to keep mental capital. And then even though I took a $550 loss on that fourth trade of the day, because my other two losses prior to that were so tight, set myself up, right? Set myself up where it was easy to be green. Maybe not easy, but where from like a P&L perspective, I didn't need to get a tremendous move, right? So now this is maybe starting to feel like that was a capitulation low. But great day here, right? Great, great day. CL, I don't know if I want to trade this. Green on the day, Jenny? Nice. Let's go. Congratulations. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hopefully you're healthy, happy, and safe after your storm. Yeah, that was a hell of a close, team. That was a hell of a close. No reversal volume here. It's bullish engulfing candles, but not bullish engulfing on volume. I'm going to wait it out. Let's go. Nice work, Alfred. Interesting. That's very interesting, Sammy. So target would have to be high a day here. Let's see. Same thing with ES. That definitely makes it feel more like capitulation, right? Okay. Let's give this a few minutes. But yeah, I'm not... This could be a little bit selfish, but I'm not super willing to be hyper aggressive here. Right, that little... I'm going to call it a happy accident. Tells me something. Right, subconscious working in overdrive. So, gonna give this a few minutes. But busy session here so far, and nicely green. Kind of the theme of the week here, right? Where losing small sets us up to win big. That's a fun feeling. But yeah, so the results of 5 trades here. Right, 215.34 minus, plus 87.13 on the entry protection, then minus 320.83, and then minus 552.41. Took a bigger loss than expected on that flush through, and then 1960.12 on that NQ win. So net balance of about 960 bucks on the day per account. Beautiful. I will take that all day long, turning into a great week. So again, I want to just keep reiterating this, right? Because this for me is incredibly important. But if we're going to be increasing the quantity of trades that we're taking, right, which has definitely been the case here this week, then we need to really be obsessing over losing small, right? Those trades that are plus or minus, you know, $300, $200, right, $100, they keep you in the game, right? They really, really keep you in the game. If the three losers we had, right, were max loss losers, so say $500 a piece, well, P&L is a third of what it is, right? So still think I probably need to be a little bit better. Like on that trade where I took the $320 loss, I had a chance to be green up 150, 200. And I probably should have been more obsessive protecting profits there. But all in all, I think I've done pretty well here today. And again, right, kind of made my win rate irrelevant by juicing risk reward in my favor, right? So cutting trades before you get fully stopped out, even if you're saving yourself 2 points, right? That's still a long-term win. So I'm going to keep focusing on that like the lunatic that I am. So everyone kind of understand, how, why I've behaved the way I have here today? Does it make sense to everyone? Do you guys like it? I haven't really asked that. Hey, dog. Yeah, you guys like it, yeah? I'm not opposed to feedback here, right? Absolutely not opposed to feedback. So, Jack, I'd love to see you track that in your journal, right? Write down, where you could have, or what made you maybe feel like if you could have had that hope. Because I think really what I'm trying to focus on here is I'm trying to develop better trust, right? And in trading, the way that we trust price action is we trust that our losers are going to turn into winners and that our winners are going to turn into losers. So I want to get better at trusting that my losers are going to be losers and that my winners are going to be winners. That's the kind of like mindset shift I'm trying to build here. So that's why I want to be more aggressive, right, in building up positions and increasing sizing on wins. And I haven't done that on anything here today. But that's the objective. That's the goal. I do think a big drain on mental capital is thinking or trusting that a loss is going to turn into a win and then getting stopped out for a loss. And it's basically the first time I get a bad feeling about a trade, I need to get out. That's pretty much what I'm trying. Like, that's the reflex I'm trying to train myself to. So, do you mean scaling in like pyramiding, Topher? Truth be told, on that NQ trade, I definitely had an opportunity to do it. So, Cabo, great question, right? And it's a good problem to have, right? You'd have to start thinking about your trades, right? And starting to write down and tracking, like, hey, which point in my trade made me a little bit nervous, right? Or what made me feel like as if I wasn't going to get that follow through that I wanted. And then why did I not trust that feeling, right? The more and more data you can start to track around basically that fork in the road, the easier it is for you to notice it the next time and then be able to make a plan around it. Yeah, so Topher, I get what you mean about using micros to give us bigger stop losses. I am not going to be increasing the size of my stop, right? My trading works well when my risk is tight, so I can take lots of opportunities. I think increasing the size of my stop loss, it artificially kind of rewards that, trusting that my losers are going to turn into winners and trusting that my winners are going to turn into losers, right? So it's kind of the opposite of that. Because on the trades where I'm green, or on my best trades, I'm green almost right away, which means I don't need a huge amount of stop, right? Or I don't need a huge stop to be able to capitalize on those moves. What I want to make sure is that I then have the basically math in my favor so that when those moves happen, I can survive the paper cuts in between. And then if you want to use bigger stop losses, you want to set a different stop loss price, that's fine. But this means you have to wait for deeper pullbacks, right? I don't want to widen out my stops because if I'm wrong, I should be wrong right away. If I'm right, I should be right away. I'm trying to cut out all the trades in the middle, right? So the trades that kind of dilly-dally, those are the ones that end up, A, draining mental capital, but then end up usually being stop losses 10 minutes later. So if I could cut those out, right, for negligible losses or, you know, a couple $100, whatever it might be, it would be something to think about. Yeah, look, I have no problem with you tracking that data, right? If you want to set up in your journal what was my stop loss, best stop loss, worst stop loss, and you constantly find yourself getting faked out, well, now you have like a objective way of where you can set a new stop loss where it's the same thing every single time. The point for me, right, with having my stop loss where it is, where it's low of confirmation candle or low of entry candle, is I don't have to think about it, right? It's like muscle memory of where to place it. And so I don't create any analysis paralysis over, hey, is this the right stop loss? Is this the wrong stop loss? Is this whatever? I'm just being really consistent and I'm allowing that variance to reward me or, you know, get the good and bad of it. When I start to do a different thing every time, it becomes very challenging for me to notice the pattern that's basically costing me money, right? So if I one day set my stop loss 5 points below, 10 points below the next trade, 15 points below, 7 points below the next trade, it's going to be really hard for me to tell, is it my stop loss that's costing me money, or is it my entry, or is it my thesis? Because there's like a extra variable that changes on each trade. So the more consistent I can be in structuring things around my logic, well, easier it is for me to notice basically where I'm making mistakes, right? Mistakes will stand out a lot more like a sore thumb, and then I can fix those things. What I don't want to get in my data is basically false positives, right? Where I get, oh, if I fix my entries, this is going to make me more profitable when it's actually my stop loss or my setup trigger. And so that's really why I want to be as consistent as possible. And Kiki, if you just passed your evaluation, congratulations, incredible. What you want to do here now is wait until end of day. And then you're going to get certificates to sign and get everything set up. And then you'll be able to get going for Tuesday. So they process accounts around 4:35. And you'll get a bunch of stuff to sign and stuff like that at that point. But congratulations. Really, really well done. And Cabo, did that make sense about kind of like tracking that fork in the road? That makes sense? Yeah, spot on, Joe. So it's about making X amount without losing X amount. And then once you pass that, you get funded with a live account where you keep 90% of the P&L you generate. Kiki was able to make 6,000 bucks. So guys, I don't think I'm going to place any further trades. 2 for 5 on the day, nicely green. With the 25K, Joe, you got to make a lot less. I think it's like 1,500 bucks. She's been trading with a 100K account. Or they've been trading with a 100K account. Oh, yeah, correct, yeah. And then you get 90% of anything after that. So, any questions here, team? I don't see myself placing any further trades. And yeah, okay, feel pretty good about avoiding NQ. Awesome end to the week. And every day this week, P&L just got bigger and bigger and bigger. That was fun. Okay, it's time to fill in the journal here. And again, now I've got two pages of notes, and I'm basically just going to translate that into my Excel into something that I can read back, right? So And conditions-wise, 1 out of 3 here. And again, I feel, and I'm not trying to be an a-hole here. I feel really, really happy about managing those losers so well, right? Like, I feel like this week I've taken a little bit of a step forward in being a better loser. And I love it, right? Seeing a $215 loss instead of a $500 loss, putting a smile on my face. I love it. That's making me very, very happy. Nice, Mike. Have a great weekend, man. Sounds like a blast. Any questions here, team? Any questions here, team? So, journal entry for the day, bit of a long one, right? Real awesome day where, again, I really focused on my process and the price action, not my P&L. Played 5 trades with 3 losses and 1 max loss. Played NQ to the upside at 2084, 884.50. Wasn't green right away and felt like price action got stuck at 2890. Post entry, it closed as an inside bar, and that should have been my clue to cut the trade. If I'm expecting the trade to move in my direction right away, consolidation post entry is a bad reaction. So I could have cut the trade a bit early, but still ended up finding a close for a 215.34 loss. I think my entry was a bit rushed too, and a better entry would have allowed me to protect profits at 1R and move on with my life. So this was an avoidable loss had I gotten a better entry. Second trade was an NQ short at 2852.25. Closed it for a small win at 847.75 because it didn't feel like it was moving the right way. Each dip was getting bought up and we couldn't get a close under the previous low of day. Each bearish candle was a least bearish candle. Price stayed at that level for a bit before making a higher high and then breaking down. Plus 87.13 on that trade, and I avoided a loss. Then played NQ short at 2875. This trade moved in my direction right away towards 70.89 and then flew back up to 800. That should have been my trigger to protect that position. Once I saw a failed breakdown away from my entry, I should have not trusted that bears were winning. That was a short-term bearish failure and needed to cut it and move on. Price then pulled back over my entry price and I closed it for a $300.83 loss. This is a loss that should have been avoided. Got a bit greedy here. Then played ES long on a reversal setup under the ORB low. Got in at 620.25 and price made a huge flush under my entry. Got a bad fill on my stop loss and took a $552 loss, $552.41 loss. Was just wrong on this trade. Finally played NQ short at 27.7550 with 2 contracts. This trade ran in my direction almost right away, and each pullback bounce was like a basketball. The bounce back was smaller and smaller each time. I ended up fat fingering my close at 728, which was my red 2R range line from the indicator. I think that confused me a bit in the moment, and the move lower happened so fast that subconsciously it felt like capitulation in hindsight. That 728 close was nearly perfect, and my reflex saved me a ton of money on that trade. That win netted me 1960.12 and made the day very, very nice. All in all, I'm very happy with how I traded. Mostly lost small, protected positions well, protected my mental capital well, and made my win rate irrelevant. 2 mistakes to focus on and fix, but I feel like I'm getting better and better each day. Really having a ton of trading, having a ton of fun trading, cutting losses quickly. Taking the short-term hit makes it so much easier to get that big daily win. Had I taken max losses on all my trades, I would have broken even or even lost money today. Instead, I finish up nearly 1K per account. What other proof of concept do I need that this works? So that's the obsession, right? I've got so much short-term evidence that, hey, this is actually a more profitable way to trade. This is actually making me more money, that it is honestly, it would be negligible for me to do anything else besides trusting my system. Personally, Greg, I trade with 6 150K accounts. I find that to be the sweet spot for myself personally, but 250Ks are great. And just stacking up accounts and building up that extra leverage is how you get tremendous amount of upside. And boom, guys, what a week here. Everyday green. So is that, how many days is that? So in our last 10 trading days, we're up 32K. That's not too shabby. So any questions here, team? Any questions? All right, guys, final call here. Final call for questions. Yeah, great day today here, Brother Free. $958 per account here. So great day. Thank you. How'd your trading day go? The amount of drawdown that you get, really, Joe, that for me would be the biggest difference. So it's how much drawdown you get. And then once you're above your drawdown, you get more, you can build up bigger position sizing, right, with the more accounts that you have, or the larger account you have. Hey, well done, Brother Free. $400 per account's a great day. All right, guys. Final call here. Final call. All right, team. Well, quick reminder, right? No stream tomorrow. Obviously, markets are closed for Thanksgiving. And then no stream Friday, right? Because half day from the market, so not going to be worth trading, right? It's really just there for option expiration. And then, personally, I'm not trading on Monday as I'm going to be flying back from jolly old England. And, yeah, I'll just be at the airport at the time of market open. So if you guys have any questions or anything along those lines, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can, but I can't promise. I'll be very attentive to my phone as I'm going to be neck deep in British drinking culture, I'm sure. And I'm going to be suffering tremendous hangovers every day, almost guaranteed. We're playing Aston Villa, Craig. We're playing Aston Villa on the Sunday. Thank you, sir. Yeah, very much looking forward to it. Last year, I spent American Thanksgiving in Miami. This year, I'm spending it in the UK. I think I know which one I'd prefer, but hey, you gotta go see your friends. All right, guys. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. Do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But in the meantime, have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch up really soon. Peace.